Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I am Diamond. I don't think there'll be anyone else hosting this, unless, who knows, whatever. So last week we talked about rebranding yourself, and I really wanted to emphasize that rebranding yourself is not a way of reinventing yourself to get better people or to make there's a lot of nonsense with it. You should go watch the video so you can understand what this video is about. And it's talking about moving through the recycled matches. So for those of you who, most people in 2020 and like the past decade, your dating has been through apps and websites. And so once you're coming out of a relationship, do you go back and try to connect with the people who wanted to connect with you before you got into a relationship? So we're going to try to address that and how fudging awkward it is, because it is. Because some of these people are like, I waited for you for so long. Trust me, I've been there. And I'm like, I'm still not gonna talk to you though. So we're gonna jump right into it. So one of the very first questions that you might want to ask yourself is, do I even talk to the people who I matched with before this situation? Because there could be, a different thing where it's like, actually, I would have gave that guy or that person the time of day. Or if it's like, actually, I dodged a bullet because I got into a relationship and this other person was on me, like, name something that has things on it all the time. Whatever. So you're trying to decide, am I going to jump right back in after you rebranded yourself, after you understood why you want to get back into the dating game? Am I going to jump in and, link up with these people I didn't give the time of day before I left? So here are some things to consider. One, why? As all the things that we've been talking about in the breakup saga. Why are you going to talk to these people? Is it necessary? And do you actually like them? Because I have found, and I seem a little twitchy, it's because I had a chai today. And I don't consume caffeine as much as I should. Or don't. I don't know. I'm jittery. So I'm sorry if my movements are erratic because I can see them on camera. All right. I'm sorry. I'm going to get that under control. So I know from a couple of my friends who did get relationships off of dating sites, and then they try to jump back on the dating sites. Oh, wow. Remind me never to consume caffeine before I do this again, because I'm talking too fast. I don't know what the hell's going on. They get back onto dating sites, and then now they just like, oh my God, what if I messed up and I talked to the wrong person? So I'm going to message every one of the guys who talked to me. And then after a while, it gets messy, gets a bit discombobulated. There's a lot of stuff going on that you probably don't want to deal with, because in most cases, I feel like every dating site has, let me preface this first. Almost every person that I've spoken to, guy-wise, on dating sites claim that the specific dating site they're on is for hookups only. You could be on Fudge and eHarmony and somebody will say, this is a hookup app. So I really think that you need to rethink just messaging everyone at once, because you might not be looking for a hookup. You might be actually looking to connect with someone, have a new friend, go on some dates. But a lot of people assume every app on the planet is meant to stick your stuff in other people's things. That's my nice way of saying the F word. So, yeah. And I want you to kind of think about that before you just send out like a mass array of messages, because what you might be wanting is probably not even, casual. You might need validation, which unfortunately we run on a society that needs validation. So you might just want someone to call you pretty or beautiful or handsome or whatever it is that you like to be called. But you might get some stuff that's going to hinder you or make what you're feeling worse just by sending out mass messages. So I do want you to think about, do I want to interact with this person to a point where if they said something to me, I know it's going to affect me negatively, positively? I don't know. Because when you just start throwing stuff into the world, that's when the world starts throwing stuff back at you. That's just how it goes. Another thing that you might want to think about is, let's say you completely deleted your sites. You've been in a relationship. You're like, I'm not hiding my accounts. I'm deleting them all. And you get back on there, and then you start matching with people who you deleted or unmatched, or y'all didn't vibe right at the beginning. What do you do with that? Do you communicate with them? Do you what is it? So I've had this happen to me personally, where I got off dating sites, not just because I was in a relationship. I wasn't in a relationship. I was just kind of over it, which happens. I think all of us at some point has a moment where we're like, dating is so tedious. So we get off apps. So I jumped back on, and immediately there's been this guy since I moved to New York. I'm coming up on my year in May living in New York, which is wild. In fact, this past Friday, I exchanged my Texas ID for a New York one, and I'm very sad. But that's not the point. This guy has been trying to link up with me since I moved to New York. Like, he's been in every DM possible. Every DM possible. And I just wasn't, like, it's not that I wasn't vibing with him. It was literally because his profile was like, I'm trying to hook up. And, like, every time I would see his profile go by, he has edited to really emphasize that he's really just trying to have sex. And I'm like, well, that's not what I want. Like, I don't want to waste your time. You don't want to wait. Like, I hope you don't want to waste my time. Whatever. And then he pops right back up. And then a part of my head was like, maybe you could give him a chance. But then the other part, the biggest part, the smart part was like, no. Literally, look at his description. He's still talking about having sex, and it's been over a year. So I don't know if he's either having a lot of sex and he just wants to keep having it, or he has not had sex and he's just trying to get some. Either way, I really have to think about, do I want to communicate with this person? Because I've seen what he's about and I'm not about it. And I think a lot of things that you would have to consider, besides, oh wow, this person's hot, is read the description, see what they're about. And sometimes people don't even put descriptions because they know that immediately takes them off people's radars, which I guess is cool and all if you're going to be strategic about it, but it's also a huge waste of my time and your time and everyone else's time. If, you, the person who's watching this, wrote an entire beautiful paragraph or whatever it is, made a video or whatever, blah, 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 about what you want, and it outlines exactly, I am here for this, I am not here for that. And then you match with someone who has nothing on their profile, and they're just like, oh, well, I'm into casual sex, if that's what you're into. Did you read my profile? That's a whole different topic. Oh, Lord. But bringing it back to the actual topic at hand, how do you interact with those people? And bringing it back to the very front when I was telling you, it really depends on what you're looking for. I'm not shading anyone who's looking for casual sex after, you got a relationship. You do you, and you do all the people you want to do. Be safe. But I do think it's important that you outline exactly what you want and make sure you're not interacting with people simply because it's convenient. And with, smartphones and apps and all that stuff, and, you can call up a person and they'll be at your house in an hour to do nasty things to you. I think it's easy for people to just immediately jump into something out of a sense of desperation where they're like, I need to get something now. Like, I need my fix now. It can be more detrimental to your mental health and probably your physical health if you're just out there busting it open and busting it in other people for random things. But being cognizant of your health. My main focus was on mental health because I hope that you're taking care of yourself physically, taking the necessary precautions, but I could be wrong. Condoms are not expensive. There's some places that give it to you for free. So keep that in mind. I think it needs to be something that you think about, because if you do throw yourself out there and you start reconnecting with matches, or you just go on a swipe galore, you're like, I'll take whatever I can get. I think that internally you're telling yourself that you'll only accept the bare minimum or whoever's offering. And you're more than that. You're more than anonymous sex, unless, like I said, unless you're into that. But if you're not into that, you don't have to be, because I know it's a very vulnerable part of coming out of a relationship and reevaluating what you need, but then also realizing there's physical parts of me that wants things that, I need some done. And I respect that 100%. I respect your autonomy, your bodily needs. But really think about, is it worth connecting with these people that did not make the cut in the beginning? And sometimes you might get gems that are like, hey, actually, I like that we talked. And then, we both kind of fell off. Like, you did your own thing, I did mine. And then how about we connect now? Bam, that's great. It's nice. But I'm saying, if you're just out there just swiping and talking and then rematching with people who really were not worth your time the first time around, you got to make sure you're not doing that. Because that can really get to you. And especially if you're a consistent person who has a pattern of dating site, get a relationship, get out of relationship, dating site, that is not good for your psyche whatsoever. And I just want you to keep that in mind. It's 2020. You're open to do whatever you want. You're open to meet new people and do people. But I really want you to think that since you just did the whole process of evaluating yourself and evaluating your needs and rebranding yourself, do you want this new person, this revamped version of you who is in tune with their needs, who are in tune with what their faults are, who's actively working on themselves, to be brought down by something that is not worth their time or people not worth their time? And I know there's some people that are like, I can do anonymous, I can do all that stuff without being attached, without having to deal with things. But then I think internally, not eternally, good gracious, internally, you'll have to reevaluate, is this affecting me in a way that will keep me from being prosperous in my next relationship? Or if you're deciding relationships ain't my thing, I'm just going to do me and do other people, that's great too. That's the thing about relationships. Like, I'm so glad that now there's an array of relationship types. There's not just the heteronormative monogamous relationships where you're like, I'm going to find myself a man and settle down with a white picket fence and I'm going to wash the dishes every night. Or that's the first thing that came to my head. I don't even wash the dishes every night. Matt washes the dishes. But you have the ability to create and mingle and engage with people in a way that is not conforming. So if you find that, dating, not my thing, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to have sex with people and I'm going to be with myself. That's also a thing. If you feel like that you have to be with people, you have to be with multiple people in order to find the right person, do you. But as always, be honest with yourself, be honest with the people you're engaging with, because it is not their burden to take on your journey. Understand? That makes sense a little bit, kind of. And what I mean by that is that if you know that you're just riding the waves of sex, really tell people that that's kind of where you are right now, that you're not looking to establish something romantic or anything like that. Or if you're like, I'm just going to date a bunch of people until I think I found the right person, I'm going to keep dating. That was actually something I had to deal with a couple of months ago because I was dating like 4 guys and all of them knew that I was like actively dating because it's common sense, right? But only one of them was like, well, I feel like you're cheating on me. And I'm like, you're not my man. You need to relax. But after, I tried to explain it to him, it wasn't something that we had gone on 15 dates. And then I was like, by the way, I got 3 other people that I'm seeing too. It was really something I said up front. And he's like, oh, I'm cool with that. And it wasn't until we started seeing each other more and more that he was like, well, I don't like it. You're the only person I'm seeing. And I'm like, that ain't my fault. Not putting all my eggs in one basket anymore. 2020. Have multiple baskets with a lot of different eggs. That sounds... You know what I'm trying to say, because that sounded different than in my head than it did outside. Okay, regardless. My point is, be honest with people. Be upfront with them, because it's, like I said, it's not their burden to go with you on this journey or to be like a rock or a little bed notch, just something that you're skipping by. So be honest with people and be safe as per usual. And that's all I have for you today. And next week, I forgot what I'm talking to you about. Let me see. Oh, next week we're talking about, should you reconcile? What did I write? I literally tried to write. What did I write? Because that says reconnect, but there's an L in there. All right. Should you reconnect with your ex? I think I was trying to write 2 different words. Because should you reconnect with your ex? And I have some thoughts about that. In fact, that was actually something that me and Matt had talked about. Actually, I uploaded it here. If you go to my last video, which it'll be at the back at the end of this video, exes, should they stay in the past? Me and Matt talk about our exes and our thoughts about whether or not they should stay in the past or they should come back with us or whatever it is. It's very nice. I mean, actually, no, it's not. It's really screwed up. But I love talking with Matt. He's the best podcast host ever. Yeah. So anyway, like, share, and subscribe. I hope you have a wonderful day, a wonderful week, and I will see you next week.